Hello, students. This is your makeup video for Thursday, January 7th, and this will work for all of our classes. I'm using third period as an example here, but it's still the same thing for all of the classes. So during class yesterday, we went over the worksheet that we started on Tuesday, and you should have finished it on Wednesday. So what you'll need to do with this video is go back through and check to make sure that your answers are correct. If you have a score from me on your worksheet because you turned it in with at least something done, that score is just for completion. That score is not for whether or not it is correct. It just reflects whether you did the part in class on Tuesday and on your own on Wednesday or not. So it is just for completion. So if you got a 4, that means you did it. That doesn't necessarily mean you did it correctly. So you'll need to listen as I go through this, check your answers against the answers that I'm going to provide right now, and just make sure that you understand what's going on. Again, if you got a 4, that means that you completed it. That does not mean that you necessarily got it all correct. You might have, but you need to check and see. When we finish with that, then we're going to talk about the vocabulary that you need to work on for Friday. It's due by Friday. And then we're going to talk about the quiz for Monday. So that's several things that you need to do. There is also a quizzes activity that we did in class today. It is not vocabulary specifically. It does have, it's kind of application a little bit more. So you're going to need to do this as well. So if you log into quizzes, it should be in this class. So it's, I set up a new one. Right here's my class. Okay, so 2020, 2021, 8th grade science, and this is natural selection. There are several ways that you can access this. It's set up for you, and also you can access it from the link in vocabulary in each class assignment set. So look in classwork, look at the topic of January 4th through the 8th, and you'll see that there's vocabulary right there. That vocabulary has a link for the natural selection flashcards. Okay, let's go ahead and work on today's work. You will notice in today's work that I did put up the little Rock Pocket Mouse storyboard. You are welcome to look at this and go back through it and see, oh yeah, this is what we were talking about. I think the Rock Pocket Mouse storyboard works quite well. So you're good. You're doing good. Okay. For makeup, you're going to do any work not done correctly on the natural selection activity from Tuesday. And then I would also like for you to create a Google Doc. You'll have to do that yourself, in which you summarize how natural selection acted on the rock pocket mice from the scenario right here. So that's something that I want you to think about on your own. And that's something to kind of help you through some of the discussion that we had in class that if you missed, you aren't necessarily a part of. Okay, you also need to do that quizzes activity that I have linked. Okay, so that's your makeup. So what you should have from Tuesday is this information. You can go back through and check and see what that information looked like, but it's the claim, evidence, and reasoning for the first part. You can go back and watch the video that I uploaded on Tuesday to get the discussion of this. So now we're going to move on to the dark colored mice. So the dark colored mice are the ones that now are blending in with the environment after the volcano erupted and the substrate or the ground material changed to a darker color. So we're going to put in a claim here, and our claim should be in the same basic format that it was in for the first claim. So if you don't have that, you'll want to fix it. So your claim should say natural selection leads to, and in this case, we have an increase. The way that you know that it's an increase is you go up here and look. Here's our percentage of dark-colored mice in the population started out at 10%, and now it's at 83%. So you're looking at this grouping of numbers of percentages. So we know that the dark-colored mice percentage increased. Okay, so the claim now is natural selection leads to an increase in dark-colored mice in the population over time. Very simple claim, but it fits what we need it to say. For the evidence, we're going to have two pieces of evidence. So there are dark and light-colored substrate in the environment in this region. You've got still some light-colored sand. You have the dark-colored volcanic rock. So that's evidence. Okay. The other piece of evidence, and that's evidence from our reading. The other piece of evidence is going to be a numbers evidence, a data evidence. And so we're not going to put in all of the data. We're just going to put in what happened. We're going to talk about the overall trend. So the population of dark-colored mice increased from 10% to 83% in that sampling period. I think it's over 12 years because of the way that the sampling occurred. So how do we explain this? We've got our claim, we've got our evidence. How'd this happen? What's the science behind it all? Okay, so then we're going to go to number 4, explain how natural selection is acting on dark-colored mice. So originally, the dark-colored mice's dark fur caused them to stand out on the light-colored rock. And if you remember, if you go back and look at the storyboard, you'll see that the little falcon could come in and look for lunch or look for the Snickers bar snack type of thing. And so the falcon would be able to see the dark-colored mice more easily, and so that's what it would go for. Same for other predators. So that gives us selective pressure against the dark-colored mice. So it increased the selective pressure they experienced because it made them more susceptible to predation. So it was easier for birds or other predators to see them. However, when the volcano erupted and caused the substrate to be darker, the change in environment then provided a selective advantage to the dark-colored mice. And that's where you see at the end of the storyboard, there's a little sign that says adaptation. And so now we have a selective advantage because this adaptation of dark-colored fur allows these dark-colored mice to be more likely to survive and reproduce. Does that mean they'll absolutely survive and reproduce? No, not necessarily. There are plenty of other things that could happen. However, it makes them more likely to survive and reproduce than the light-colored mice because the light-colored mice are easier to see for the predators. Over time, then, natural selection will cause the dark fur. So over time, natural selection will cause the dark fur to increase in the population due to the increased likelihood that the dark-colored mice will be camouflaged and are less likely to be eaten by predators. This will lead to more dark-colored mice surviving and reproducing. So if you need any more time with any of these sections, you can stop now and take a look at them. I'll scroll back up just a second so that you can see the first part, and then I'll scroll back down for the second. Here's the first part. And here's the second part. Okay, now moving on for the natural selection and reproduction. And this asks you to predict what traits will be present in future generations and then to explain how you came to that conclusion. So in the future, there will be more dark-colored mice and fewer light-colored mice because the dark-colored mice are more likely to survive and reproduce in this population that now lives on the dark-colored magma flow. So you need to have something in that general neighborhood for your answer. All right, so that takes care of going back over the work that you should have done on your own on Wednesday. Like I told you in class on Tuesday, I don't know if you got these right. That's okay. I wanted you to think about them. So now you have something to check your work against. Make sure that you did it well. On Monday, your assignment is going to be to do a learning check. We're going to see how well you're doing with this. We're going to do a few things, though, between now and Monday to make sure that you have everything that you need to understand what's going on. So let's take a look at one of those things. One is that you have a quizzes natural selection kind of game to play. So this is assigned to you. It shows up in your class, and you'll need to click on the link. In each class, there's a quizzes link for Thursday in class. There's both a mobile link and a web link. So use the mobile link if you are on your phone or tablet. Use the web link if you're on your Chromebook or a desktop computer or another laptop for that matter. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and I'll be able to see what you did. And it's kind of a contest of, hey, how do we do on this? We might have some bragging rights going on Tuesday when we come back together. Okay, the next thing to remind you of is that you have vocabulary that's due, and we talked about that a little bit earlier on. So make sure that you get this vocabulary assignment right here. So it's vocabulary that I assigned on Tuesday. Make sure that you get that done before you take the test on Monday, before you take the learning check on Monday. Now, let's go ahead and go through the scenario for Monday. So you are going to use this little slide set so that you can go through the information. You'll take a look and you'll see what's going on with the bacteria. And then you'll open up your test and you will read through this up here at the top, and you will make sure that you take a look over here at the population, and the percentage for resistant bacteria and the percentage for non-resistant bacteria. And then you'll go through and you'll answer all of the different parts. You can use your information from class on Tuesday, Wednesday, and today for that. All right, that's it for your makeup. Hope this helped. And I'll see you in class on Tuesday.